ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this episode of No Holds Barred, Rhode Island College's officially unofficial pro wrestling, MMA, jiu-jitsu, fight world talk show with your hosts, myself, Jacob Ottaviani.
And Josh Percy, of course.
And on this episode, we're going to be running down the recent developments, debuts, happenings over in All Elite Wrestling. So, okay. Josh, what's on the docket today?
So, obviously, we're going to be talking just AEW, try to focus just on that and what's been going on in the last few weeks. Some recent debuts, and a few, one newcomer, I would say.
Yep.
With his first match this week that just happened. We're going to talk Brodie Lee. He also known as the Exalted One, the leader of the Dark Order.
You also may know him as Luke Harper.
May know him as Luke Harper from WWE. Finally, got his release. 90-day wait period. Showed up on AEW.
With a sweet-ass white jacket.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Exalted One. We'll be talking Matt Hardy is All Elite, of course.
He's All Elite, and he is once again
now.
Broken.
Oh yeah, broken Matt Hardy showing up on AEW, debuting the same day as Brodie Lee. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the newcomer of Lance Archer. We might talk about TNT TV Championship tournament. But no, it's got a lot. AEW's doing a lot right now, and you had some recent developments in their group of newcomers. So,
I mean, on top of just Lance Archer, you got Jake the Snake along with him.
Yeah, Jake,
who can still cut a promo. Oh my God, that intensity has not left him yet. He's still going.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, DDP.
Yeah. Obviously, when Brodie Lee got his release and Matt Hardy's contract ended. He showed up, Matt Hardy showed up, he did his Free the Delete video, and the Young Bucks showed up.
The Bucks of Youth.
The Bucks of Youth, yes, the Bucks of Youth. I knew you'd come. But AEW was planning to do Blood and Guts, also known as War Games, but they can't use that. It was supposed to be the inner circle of, the inner circle. I think it was supposed to be Santino Marella. No, Santana Ortiz, Hagar, and Jericho. Those four versus
Cody, Kenny, Hangman, and Nick Jackson.
It's five. Guerrera is also in that.
Yeah, so
and then the last guy, Matt Jackson, got written after injured, and Matt Hardy showed up to even the playing field to join the Elite. And he's feuding with Chris Jericho, which is crazy.
Is he feuding with Chris Jericho, or is Vanguard One feuding with Chris Jericho? Because he stole the T-shirt.
Maybe that might be the next headliner.
Or is he gonna join the Inner Circle? Is Vanguard One gonna join the Inner Circle?
That'd be crazy.
It'd be hilarious.
That'd be awesome. But Matt Hardy showing up, Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts, Brodie Lee after 90 days no compete after his release from WWE got to show up as the Exalted One, which a lot of people thought Matt Hardy was going to show up as, but the Dark Order had been around in AEW since the beginning now, right? The Dark Order. And they kept talking about an Exalted One, an Exalted One, an Exalted One, the leader, the Exalted One. And finally,
was me, Austin!
It was me! We all thought it was going to be Vince, but obviously Brodie Lee debuted, and I think it's hilarious that he now has become a cult leader himself.
Yeah, right. He went from being the little follower. The follower. That's what I was thinking.
To the leader. And a lot of his promos, his most recent one was a clear shot at Vince McMahon.
Oh, it's hilarious. You're not the first old man who's out of touch or something.
Oh man, you're not the first old man. But then his second promo, which I don't know if you saw, it was him in a suit eating dinner with two of his followers, and he wasn't allowing them to eat until he finished first, which is one of the biggest things that people say about Vince McMahon backstage. And then the second one is one of them sneezed.
Yeah,
and he lost it. And Brodie Lee lost it, kicked him out. He started yelling at him, and it was a huge shoot on Vince McMahon, which is hilarious.
Yeah, Vince McMahon hates sneezing because it's the one thing he can't control.
Oh, absolutely.
To put you in the mind of that psychopath for a second.
But I think for the debuts of Brodie Lee and Lance Archer and Matt Hardy, couldn't have come for a better time for AEW.
Yeah, they needed something to keep them fresh, especially right now, as
yes,
they've lost all their audience. Blood and Guts got canceled. A lot of their talents choosing not to make it to the arenas and do the shows due to the current thing that's going on.
Yeah,
but
it was good to kind of just bring something, continue on with the product, and not kind of like
just shut down.
Shut down. Bring something. Don't hold back on the new characters. Just go full steam ahead.
I mean, Broken Matt Hardy is almost perfect for this kind of thing because most of his gimmick and all of his best stuff is pre-recorded video.
Yeah.
That's like at the Hardy compound, all of the Broken Chronicles, whatever they were called.
Free the Delete.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
That was where he did his best stuff.
He was teleporting on AEW.
Exactly.
Dynamite. He was teleporting on, showing up with Jericho.
I'm glad they're still going back to the Broken gimmick, even like 2 years after it was popular.
I mean, don't get rid of what works.
Everyone loves it. Vince just ruined it.
Vince ruined it because I don't think they had the right to call it I don't
no,
think
it was
Vince
Woken.
Vince didn't want to call it the Broken Universe.
The Woken universe.
Warriors. Oh man. But I think it's gonna be great. I think they're gonna, I feel like Brodie Lee might get the Shawn Spears type treatment eventually.
Yeah.
He might start off as the exalted one, but he might actually become the Bray Wyatt of AEW.
Oh, that'd be sad.
Being built up as this giant person, but he wins all the small matches. But when he faces off against anyone who's more popular than him, there's no chance he's gonna be a glorified jobber.
I really hope that's not how it goes. That'd be sad.
I feel like that might be how it goes.
That's how AEW's been treating a lot of the talent they promised big things to, though.
Oh yeah. Well, then again, you still have to build them up, but there's no audience to build up to.
But this is why we need a mid-card title.
Yes.
Like the TNT TV title, which is going into a tournament style to determine their first champion. With the matches, I believe it's Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes versus Shawn Spears.
Kip Sapien versus Dustin Rhodes.
Yep,
so Goldust. And then Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana. We forgot. Colt Cabana showed up. Yeah. He's joined AEW now as well. So there's another new face to AEW.
It's not going to go well for him because he has no hype behind his debut, and Lance Archer has a lot of hype behind his debut.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were talking, outside of this. Obviously, Cody would be, the type of guy where he might make it. He's currently feuding with Lance Archer, so naturally people would think that those two make it to the finals. But I think we both agree that they might just counteract each other and they'll I doubt Lance Archer will lose his first match against Colt Cabana.
No.
But it might likely cost him the championship.
I think it's going to go to Darby Allin.
I think it's Guerrera. That might work better. He's a heel. The Inner Circle is missing its championship right now with Le Champion.
He's still a champion.
I mean, he's still Le Champion, but he doesn't have the AEW championship. You notice how he also didn't get an immediate rematch?
Mm-hmm.
Set it up with Hagar. I think that's cool that AEW is.
They're not
doing an immediate rematch.
I can't wait to see Hagar lose.
Oh yeah, he's gonna lose his second match in AEW. It's hilarious. But it's very, the TV championship might not be a mid-card title. It might be what WWE tries to make the 24/7 championship, but this would be far higher quality.
I think they'll treat it better than that.
I mean, it's not hard to treat anything better than the 24/7 championship.
You're not wrong. Okay.
Let's be real here. However, it'd be kind of like the hardcore championship, only defended at TV. I mean, that's what it should be.
Other companies have had TV titles that just get defended on TV. TNA had one.
Yeah.
WCW had one. And I think their whole thing was they just don't get defended on pay-per-views. It's just on TV every week.
Yeah.
Like remember when Cena was doing his US Open Challenge? Have it be that.
Yeah.
Good matches week in, week out for the mid-card workhorses to show their stuff off.
I mean, then they can still add another
No, they need more titles.
Yeah.
Because if they have all this stuff going on the AW Dark, then you need a reason to watch that, which right now is just really good wrestling.
Yeah. So I think another mid-card, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pull out like a European Championship.
Yeah, or I don't know what they would call it, but something the equivalent of the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah. I mean, make it the white stripe and the gold.
Make it look almost exactly the same.
Make it look almost exactly.
I wouldn't put it past Cody. He seems kind of spiteful.
Yeah, I agree. But I think at least with this TV title also taking part in April, it's good for AEW to have a plan to give things to the fans to try to increase viewership on TV, which is crazy to think that people don't want to watch it on TV. It's crazy to think that viewership's going down even though there's no live crowd.
I can see
the true
why it could be more
followers
boring.
Would want to watch it, but like
that's who is still watching. It's the hardcore. They're losing that casual audience because
there's no reaction.
There's no reaction. I can see how people could think it's a little bit less exciting now that there's no audience and no big cheers and pops, which is a big part of the wrestling experience. Is the crowd? It's like
which is why
it's an extra competitor in every match. You know.
Yeah, that's why it's so tough right now for them. But I like that AEW. What I like they're doing is, some of the matches aren't great. They're doing a few more squash matches right now. The women, I don't think there's been a women's match in a while.
I thought there was one on Dynamite.
Was there one on Dynamite?
I think it was.
Well, they're only having one women's match.
Because their women's division is paper thin.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
They need to give us more reasons to care about the women's division.
Yeah.
The matches are always great, but
there's
just no reason to...
They're better than the Diva era matches.
There's just no reason to care about them because they don't tell any stories.
I think personally the issue with the AEW women's division is that they lack talent. They're given 15, 18 to 20 minutes on.
They get a good chunk,
but their quality of match isn't good. There's a lot of a lot of miscues.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy.
Oh, it's very sloppy. But if, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair are given, 25 minutes, they're going to tear the house down.
Yeah.
But if you take the top 3 wrestlers in AEW for women...
I couldn't name the top 3. I can name
exactly. You can't, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Chris Stantler. There you go. Yeah. Those 3. You take those 3 and give them 25 minutes to fight over the championship, or even just fight in a triple threat.
Their nice little toy belt around the same size as ours.
Right about the same size as ours. They don't have the ability to put on that type of match that the women's division in WWE has. Yeah. Which, honestly, I think WWE's biggest problem, they have too much talent.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They have far too much talent. You would think that, we could go down this more in depth maybe in another episode and look at how we could take all the wrestlers in NXT, Raw and SmackDown, and we could make our own list of who we would make a main event talent to challenge for a world championship.
Yeah.
Who would be our mid card, and then obviously we could take whoever's not in the mid card and put them into tag teams, and then you have the women's division, which is insanely stacked. Over 3 championships.
The NXT women's division is just, I've said it multiple times on air.
Yeah.
Just the best division in all of wrestling. Like, full stop.
Yeah.
The NXT women's division is just so good right now.
Yeah. You have so much talent in WWE, and people complain that there's not enough titles. People can't get all. That's why there's, only 1 or 2 people can be challenged. There can only be like 2 or 3 people in a rivalry for a world title, mid-card. And then again, you get tired of the triple threats and the fatal 4-ways,
I like the
5 match. The one-on, if you do one-on-one for every title, then, one tag team, obviously there's going to be somebody messed up. I think what WWE needs to start doing more is building up tag team storylines not involving the titles, women's storylines not involving the titles, because let's be real here, there's no real women's rivalry right now that doesn't include a title. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, the women in NXT are fighting for a chance at the title.
Yep.
That's all it is. There's no, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, but that hasn't really lit the fuse on anything.
They've had some good matches.
They've had good matches, but people are hoping that it was more at the Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano
where
level.
They just kill each other.
But they're not given the opportunity because they're all fighting for the title right now. The opportunity at the title. SmackDown, what rivalries do you have? You have 5 women, the only 5 women apparently that are going to make it to Mania for SmackDown, fighting over the title. Raw, you have Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler.
Mm-hmm.
And then Asuka and Kairi Sane are fighting
Nikki
Bliss and Cross
yeah.
from SmackDown for the title. There's no big storyline involving the women, not just grudge matches like Randy Orton or Undertaker Styles. There's nothing like that. The men get more opportunities like that. I always liked the dual pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Where each one of them had their own pay-per-view. It was
the
2 pay-per-views a month.
Oh, like one Raw,
one
yeah,
SmackDown.
that was always great.
And I mean, like, you got 4 titles. That's 4 title matches, and you can do 3 rivalry matches.
No, I agree.
And
That's when you get the most.
7 rivalries going on.
And you would get showcased.
Yeah, exactly. You have 7. You can have 6 rivalries. You do 5 You do 5 segments on SmackDown of matches in 2 hours. Everyone gets ample time. You do a few backstage promos, and you just mix it up so that not everyone's jobbing out in the ring to expand a storyline.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought people didn't like it, but I mean,
I love it.
Like,
it's more wrestling.
You make 5. You have Royal Rumble. Everyone's on one pay-per-view. You do WrestleMania. Everyone on one pay-per-view. You do SummerSlam. Everybody on one pay-per-view. And you do Survivor Series. And if you really wanted to make it the big 5, you could argue that Money in the Bank. You could put everybody on there. Or Elimination Chamber. But I think Money in the Bank's more prominent because you get the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or some people say Hell in a Cell.
That could be one of them.
TLC, so not in the past few years, but TLC. I like the dual pay-per-views. You have enough rights to WCW and ECW names. Might as well
bring it back, yeah.
More money, more pay-per-views. I mean, that would be my thing. I don't like how AEW doesn't...
They do one every other month or so?
They do one every other month, and they don't even... The tag team titles have been defended on TV.
Yep.
And I think Jericho defended once on TV.
I believe he did as well. Maybe once or twice. Yeah.
But again, and then now Moxley's gotten it, and obviously he's defending on TV, I think, next week.
But that extenuated circumstances.
That's because they don't know if they had to cancel Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Too. So I think it's interesting. I think AEW is doing a better job at this whole situation.
I agree. They're handling it better, doing more things to keep the product interesting.
Yeah.
Just in general, producing better. And it seems like maybe it's just as Cody is more relatable to a lot of people, but it seems like they're really working harder to keep everyone going, and like they're doing it more personably.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You got more lower storylines not involving titles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been I've got a lot of free time now since online classes. So I played WWE 2K20, and when I did WrestleMania, the 8 rivalries I did were all non-title matches.
Yeah.
None of them were titles. So when the titles came on the pay-per-view, I just made them as I decided fit. But I really enjoy those grudge match like Randy Orton and Edge. I wish they did more of that in the women's division for WWE and
AEW.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just AEW needs to showcase the women more. That's a problem. We see them every other week.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, people complain that WWE's tag team division doesn't get enough time or enough credit to showcase their talent.
But compared
to AEW's women's division, I think WWE tag teams are doing pretty good.
Yeah, they at least get to make a name for themselves. All right, Josh, you got any final thoughts on this subject?
Nothing more, man.
Got it all out? All right, so this has been this week's, I don't know if we're doing this weekly or whatever we're doing with these at this moment.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But this is this episode of No Holds Barred. You can catch us we're going to be on the social media for 90.7 WXIN. We'll be on the Anchor TV YouTube page. And stay tuned. We'll keep putting out content.
Absolutely.
See you guys next time.